Hi everyone, it's Jean. I'm back again with a little project that I've been holding on to for a while. So I am finishing up the Hispanic journal. It needs to be completed, at least the journal part of it, by the 15th, because that's the end of Hispanic Heritage Month. One of the things that I wanted to add were some three-dimensional items, like some flowers and some other dangles and a tassel and a couple things like that. So I looked up different countries, and one of the things that I found from Guatemala is a little project that is just so much fun, and they are called worry dolls. Now, worry dolls were designed for children mainly, that they could, before they went to bed, they could tell all their worries to their little doll, and they could put it under their pillow, and then when they go to sleep, the doll takes care of all the worries, and in the morning they wake up happy. So I thought that was a really cute sentiment. But the worry dolls that I have made, they're normally made out of either chenille stems, if you know what I'm talking about, the chenille wire stems that you can get in all kinds of colors, or you can make them out of toothpicks. Now, I didn't have toothpicks or chenille stems, so what I'm using are match sticks. So I purchased a large box of matches because I wanted to use the box for another project that I will be showing you hopefully tomorrow or the next day, as one of the last few projects of this series. But what I did with the matches is I just cut the phosphorus, or the part that you strike on the matchbox, the actual part that lights. I cut that part off with just an X-Acto knife. So then I have all these pieces that I can stick together and make worry dolls out of. So let me show you the ones that I have already made. And these were really fun because I didn't just make a worry doll, I dressed them up a little bit. So here's the first one, and she's so cute. She reminds me kind of like a grandma, and she has a flower in her hair. I put a little flower there, and I made her a little purse or bag, pocketbook there to carry. So that's the first one I made. And then I made this young lady, and she's done in some of my favorite colors, which is purple. And then I fashioned a little cape and made her a crown because she is a queen or a princess. So there are two that I made. And then the next one I made with the idea that probably some of the women in Hispanic countries would carry baskets or even some pots maybe on their head, or I'm not sure if they do that. They may, but at any rate, I kind of wound her hair around and braided it, and then she has a couple of these pins to decorate her, and she came out really cute. I love how her arms are up in the air. And then this one, because she's a princess, she's just waving with one hand. Isn't that cute? So there are 3 of them that I have made, and the last one I made is just a girl with some brown hair and nothing too fancy on her, just a bow here in her hair. And then I like this big flower because in Mexico, one of the flowers that are often used are the dahlia. Now, this doesn't look like a dahlia, but if you've ever seen the handmade dahlias that you can make, they make them really, really big. And some of them are called dinner plate dahlias, so they're really quite large. So this one I made with her flower. And I had made one other one, and my niece loved it, so I let her take it so she could have one of my worry dolls. And then I attempted to make a worry cat. He's kind of funny looking, but he was fun to make too. So the reason why I did the cat is I kind of wanted to experiment with how I could cut the matchsticks and then slightly break them so that it would make the tail curve around. And I think I'm going to put him in my journal, even though he's a little wonky, but I still think he looks cute. And the way that I had planned on using these is by attaching to the back either a paper clip and making them clips, or attaching to the back like a brooch type pin, which you can put these on the back as well. And you can attach them, or we can always, because this is embroidery thread, we could always put like a little bulb pin in there and hang them from the dangle as well. So that's what I want to show you how I make. Now, the process of making the worry dolls is rather easy. The only thing you need are your sticks, some glue, and some I would probably get some of these little clips or some type of clip, clothespin, whatever you have, so that if you need to secure the pieces together while they dry, you can use those kind of as a clamp. So here's one that I already made, and I made the arms go different ways. So you see, I just glued them on the back, and then this is the neck and the head. And I don't know, I don't think I have another one, but this one here, now I made this one, it doesn't have the arms yet, but I made it have really long legs. So I'm deciding whether I want to wrap this around all the way or wrap in between the legs to kind of give it a, maybe a more masculine look to it, but it needs to have arms. So, and you can reinforce it a little bit if you'd like, or make different shapes with corrugated cardboard. So for example, if I wanted this to be more of a dress shape, I could put a triangle right here, and then when I wound it, it would be wider at the bottom, and then it would go into a shorter at the top. So let me go ahead and glue on the arms. And I don't really like them just sticking out like this. I think they need to have some kind of movement to them. So let me see if I can get my glue to cooperate here. I'm just going to put a glob on there. And then I'm going to break this in half. You can cut these. I just cut them with the utility knife or X-Acto knife, and they cut really easy. So we could maybe put one hand down here. I think I'm going to put them both down at the sides. And then you kind of, when you're doing this, you kind of imagine what your doll would be doing. And if you are making, let's say this turns out to be a farmer, he would have his hands down, maybe carrying a bucket or walking a dog or something like that. So if you can kind of envision in your mind what your doll is doing and what you want your doll to be when it's finished, it'll help you in how you decide to position the arms, how wide you make the legs, whether you wrap the individual legs or whether you wrap the whole thing like we've done here. And the best thing that I have found to use is actual DMC floss or Coats and Clarks, whatever you have available. But I like the ones, and I just have a pile here. Whoops, give me a second. Having a art attack over here. I just have a pile of a couple different colors. I know I have more colors somewhere, but they're probably in storage, and I have to, now that it's cooled off, get up into that storage unit. But I just wanted to show you, this is a type of embroidery thread, but it doesn't have the strands. And even though it's almost as thick as the 6-strand embroidery thread, it doesn't lay as nicely. Now, if this is all you have, by all means do that. But for me, on the first one I tried, I used a peach or cream color for the face and the head, and I didn't like that it didn't wind as smoothly. So let me put my little farmer guy over here, and then I'm going to use some of this peach. It looks tangled, but it'll be okay. I used to do cross stitch a lot, and cross stitch was fine, but I don't, I mean, it may sound silly, but I really am not a fan of numbers. My son, different. Since he was little, he's liked numbers and would ask me, Mom, what's this plus this? And we would have these little conversations, but I don't really like numbers. So for me, for cross stitching, I had to count everything. So that was sometimes a challenge for me in doing cross stitch. But for the worry dolls, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little dot of glue. It doesn't even have to be anything thick. And that's just to anchor down the very first piece for the head. And then you just continue to wind this around and wind it around and keep the wound part as much as you can in the middle, because as you can see, if you go to the side and the middle and then to the bottom side and the middle and the top side and the middle and then the bottom, you're going to get a rounder shape. So just continue to wind that, And then once you get it wound pretty, a nice little shape there, that's certainly not enough for a head yet, because the head would be even smaller than the shoulders. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tiny bit of glue and I'm going to put it right here. Oops. Sometimes this happens too, that because it's 6-strand, the strands will lift up. If that happens, just try to wind around it. And now I'm going to go up and go over the head and come down around the neck and try to wind this. The reason I'm going over the top of the head, if you can see, is because I don't want to be able to see the top of the toothpick. Now, normally you don't have to worry about that because you're going to be putting hair on it, or if you know how to make a little hat, you could put a hat on it. But I'm just going to continue to wind this here so that I can get a head that's a relatively normal size. And it's okay if the top of it is a little bit narrower than the middle. You just really want the middle to look nice and smooth with your winding so that you get a cute little face. Now let me go ahead and go around the neck, and then I'm going to go up on the head a little bit more so it kind of all blends in. And I think that's good. So I'm going to take some glue and I'm going to just dab a little bit of glue so that the end of this string will stick. Okay, so I put that on there. Whoopsie. And now I have this. And look at it from the front, because this is the side that we're, that we're going to be seeing forward. So we want it to be nice and smooth. I got it tangled up here. Give me a second. So we want it to be nice and smooth so we get a really pretty face on the front. There's a little bump there. Let me put a little bit more glue and then I'll cut this off. And when I make the neck, I don't put as much embroidery floss around the neck, because obviously you don't want the neck to be as thick as the head. You want it to look nice and look like you have the difference between a neck and a head there. And I can be too perfectionist at this, so if I adjust things, the point is that we have fun doing this, not that everything has to be perfect. What in the world? Okay, Jean, here you go again, not being able to find anything. This is like a regular series that goes along with my videos. Oh, they fell on the floor. Okay. So here we will cut this off. And it's kind of funny, when I started doing this, I was like, oh, they look like little mummies. But they don't really, because we end up using, we don't use the same color. So now we want to look for a color that would look nice as the part of the outfit. So I'm going to go with this darker green because I think you guys can see it a little bit better. And I'm just going to start right here. This one I may not have to glue. Let me just do a little winding and make sure that it covers it up. Okay, so here we have this really nice bright green, and we can decide how we want to do this. Now on this one, where her arms were down, we just wrap the whole way around. And like this one where her arm is down, you can wrap it the whole way around. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap here like this. And then once I get it wrapped a little bit, I'm going to go around the back and cross it. And then I'm going to wrap the hand. Now, any type of crisscrossing or any other type of switching up of the direction of the thread, I would try to make those switch ups on the back, because then you won't have those odd things on the front. Now, sometimes if you have to cross over on the front, it kind of looks fun, like if it would make it look like a suspender or a strap for a dress or something of that nature. So this is definitely one of these projects that will help you work on your dexterity if you need that. So okay, let me get this guy wound up here, and then I'm going to pull this down from the back again and go around the middle so that it still anchors down the sleeve. And then I'm just going to make sure and go a little bit slower so that this layers nicely. And I take my time with it because I do like it to lay smooth. And then that way I know it's going to look nice when I'm finished. Let me just lay this down here a second because this green is all tangled up. That's one thing about embroidery thread. Oh, stars. It gets tangled really easily. And I used to, when I cross-stitched, I had all mine on those little white cards, but I haven't done that with these. So I'm going to stop right here because I want to be able to see this piece being the little hand and this over here being the little hand. Now this is the front of our doll. No, this is the back. I need to either trim that or something. So this is the back. This is the front right here. So I just want to make sure this is nice and even as I go around it. I'll make it a little bit thicker if I can. And then since this is being contrary, I'm just going to cut it off here. And I'm going to wind it a tiny bit more around the waist. And then glue it. And then I'll fix the straggler on the head. So let me just glue that down and hopefully that'll stay. And this guy is having some problems with his head. Okay, so put this over here. And there it's nice and smooth. So there we go. We have the head and the top part. Now I'm going to take I'm not sure. I don't have a whole lot of colors right here, so I'm going to use the yellow that I have, and I think this is actually kind of a variegated yellow, which is fine. I'm going to start it at the well, wait a minute. Come on here. I'm going to start it right below the green, so it kind of looks like pants. Here we go. Let me just put a little bit of glue here. So this is one of the projects that I use the post earrings that I told you that I had been saving. There's so many cute post earrings, like you can in the jewelry lots that I got things like little rabbits and flowers and turtles and, you know, all kinds of cute little tiny earrings, bigger earrings to do, you know, larger projects with. But I just really liked the idea that I can poke these through the doll on the thread and through the thread and make it look like, how did I get that knot there? I don't know how that's gonna be, if I can cover that up. Okay, so I'm gonna just make this be another lady. But what I'm gonna try to do here is at the bottom, I'm gonna try to make her dress so that well, I don't think I'll be able to because I ran out. I can put some pink on the bottom though. Okay. Pink. So let's tack the yellow right here. Right there. And then we will trim this off. Okay, so we have the green. Well, for goodness sakes, we have the green and the yellow. And then I'm going to take this pink. I think it's the darkest that I have. And I'm going to try to make her dress kind of flare out at the bottom. So let me see if I can accomplish that. And the way that you would do something like that is you would just continue to wind this, and the wider it gets, you know, that's going to cause like a larger bottom on the dress. Don't ever put this at the hips because women don't like to have big hips. That's what I learned from Project Runway anyway. I love watching Project Runway. It's like, I wish I could be a seamstress not even have to be a designer, just be able to have the ability to sew a dress. I mean, I have sewn a dress once and it came out okay, but I needed assistance. My mother is the one that's the seamstress. So I'm just going to wrap this around and wrap this around so that it comes out a little bit wider than the part we wound before in the yellow. And that way it will look like she has this kind of fancy dress at the bottom. And then we'll fix it up a little bit with some pins or something and see what we can find for that. So that's all I'm going to do on her on the bottom. And I'm going to tack this and then we'll work on her hair. Now, I don't have a whole lot of colors for her hair. Oh, that's cool. It looks like she has a larger, like, bustle or something. Well, bustles are usually on the back, aren't they? So she has a large bell skirt or something, we'll call it. Now, you want to make sure, too, that your little feet stick out at the bottom so that you can recognize that, you know, it has feet. If you want to, you can take a black marker or a red marker or whatever color you want and make her shoes a different color. I just kind of like to leave them plain, but if you wanted to make her some ruby slippers for her outfit, you could certainly do that. Okay, so there we go. And now I think, what could we do for here? Let me see how this peach will make her have. We'll pretend this is like a strawberry blonde because it's kind of a peach color. And I want to do her hair, if I don't lose her. This is one of the projects I was telling my husband that I really needed to have one of those lights, those fancy lights. Okay, my dear. Let's see what we can do with your hair. So we have pink and we have this gray. Here's a little piece of like periwinkle. And there's plenty of that there. So we're going to take some poetic license here and make her hair look a different color than what we would normally wear as hair color, unless you're my daughter. My daughter has had almost every color under the sun for her hair, which I don't quite understand because she has such beautiful, beautiful dark hair, but that's my kid for you. Okay, so here we have 3 colors of hair, and I'm going to go ahead and put this darker one in too, if I can find the end of it. This is kind of a gray or gunmetal color. Let's see. And I'm going to put this color in it so that we have a nice long section here of color. Now, what I usually do with this is I'm going to go ahead and anchor this on her head. Let me trim all the edges so that they are the same. Let me have some glue here, and we will anchor this on her head. And I'm going to actually try to do it this way to see if I can give her some bangs. We'll see how that works out. Do her some bangs. Okay, they're kind of side swept, but that's all right. And then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to kind of twist it so we can see all the different colors. And then I'm going to just wrap it around her head. That's why if you use 3 or 4 of the embroidery strands, you kind of get a more interesting wrap for her head. You don't have to do the wrap, but I like it. I really liked it on that other one with the gold and the burgundy. Just a little tricky here. That's one thing about doing something like this on camera. You're never 100% sure how it's going to turn out. So here we go. And around and around and around we go. Nobody knows. I have, there's a friend that I used to watch. She's not doing videos right now because of, I think she said, a family emergency. But I would always enjoy her because she would start singing in her videos and making up songs, and that's me. Okay, so there we go. That looks so cute. I didn't really want her to have all turban hair, so I'm probably going to just twist this a little bit more and then glue it, and then I'm going to make some of it hang down the bottom, or hang down the back. And the key to gluing this, it'll glue really, really easy, so you don't need to have a whole big glop of glue. Just not, you don't need to have that, because then you end up with more of a mess than anything else. I'm going to cut this a little bit long. And then I'm going to put some other pieces on here. So let me twist this, cut it even. These scissors don't cut thread very well. Maybe they call these worry dolls because they're worrisome to make. Actually, they're not that hard to make. You just have to take your time. Okay, so there is some hair hanging down the back from her turban-like thingamabob. And then I'm going to put some more on here. One other thing I think that's nice about using the pins, or if you choose to put a little piece of lace or something on them, is that you are, if you do have a boo-boo somewhere where your thread didn't lay as nice as you wanted it to, or, you know, you have some kind of issue with the way the threading looks, you can always you can always cover that up with a pin or something. I call them pins. They're really just post earrings. So here she is. She looks kind of funny, like she is a Rastafarian or something, but she's not supposed to be. She's just supposed to have cool hair. Cool hair. And her bangs didn't work, but they're sticking out, so let me see if I can put them back under there. Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm not, it's like 9 o'clock at night, so I'm not seeing things 100%. So if you guys are seeing boo-boos, I'm sure I will see them tomorrow when I do this. So sometimes I just take my fingernail like this and kind of smooth out these pieces so that everything looks nice and smooth on the front. Not necessary, but it looks, you know, makes it look nice. And then she's definitely going to need something to tie her hair back. So let me find. Now this is when you can use like this other kind of embroidery cotton if you want to. I have a lot of it. I can't remember why. I got it because it was on sale, but I can't remember what I was using it for at the time that I thought I needed to have it. Except for if you're like me, you can't. When I used to shop in the stores a lot, I could not give up, I couldn't give up anything that was a good deal. Even if I didn't think I would use it that day, I would use it eventually. So I may see if I do have to go out tomorrow, so I may see if my hubby will take me to the Dollar Tree. So I don't think there are any thrift stores on the way to where we're going tomorrow. Maybe. It depends. It just really depends some days on, you know, how can I walk or can I not walk. Okay, there we go, ma'am. There we go, ma'am. I'm gonna put your hair like this over this shoulder. And where's her little tie? I have to make sure I make that small enough so it doesn't look like a disproportionate bow. I always admire people who work with doll houses and how they make their own miniatures. That has to be so fun, but I don't know that I can work that tiny. I try, but it's hard to work really small for me because my vision. But I am really liking this girl. So let me, I'm going to actually take a dot of glue and glue her hair right here because I want it to stay in place. And then I will trim off the edges of the bow because the strings don't need to be that long. And so there she is. She has some wild looking hair, but I love her. And she's got her fancy dress at the bottom. So we can barely see her feet though. So I'm going to push this up a little bit. So if you don't do this wrapping super tight, then you can do kind of like the adjustments that I was telling you, and then fix any pieces that need to be smoothed out. Okay, so let's see what we have in our treasure box here that we can use for a something to go on her. This is kind of cute. This is just a little green flower. And let's see what this is. That's just a ball with a little rhinestone. I thought I had, this is cute. This is a little tulip. This is okay, ma'am, your hair is supposed to stay over like this. And then the little tulip, I'm actually going to put it right here because of this wrinkle right here, and then that'll cover it up. And we'll put the little tulip there. And then, do we need something up here? Oops. Now, why is that doing that? Okay. So what you sometimes have to do with these, because they're post earrings, the end of them the ends are very long. So you have to trim them down a little bit, because if you don't, the pokey part, oh, where'd it go? The pokey part will go through to the other side, and then it won't, well, daggone it. Where did my, okay. So you have to cut it off a little bit is what I'm trying to say. And then it still flew. And then I'm going to put a little tiny dab of glue here where I'm going to put the tulip, and then glue it along with sticking it in, and then it'll stay more securely. So there we have the little tulip on there. And this pink is just giving me a fit, isn't it? I didn't want to cover up her feet. So let me pull this down a little bit. course. That tulip just does not want to stay. Okay, let me stop messing with it and put the tulip on. And then I found a butterfly that's yellow. So I'm going to trim this off a tiny bit. And put some glue right here. And put the butterfly up here. So I don't know for you if you feel that that's too busy, but I like it like that. I think it looks really cute. And the only thing I'll have to work on here, and I'll probably have to add some glue, is because we made the bottom of her dress so fat, it's wanting to slide down and cover up her feet. And I want her to have her feet sticking out. So I will have to figure out how to pull this up a little bit. Maybe I can just tuck it in with my tweezers. And tuck it in a little bit more. And then they'll show up. There we go. I might have to put a tiny dab of glue in there. So there is our little worry doll. Isn't she precious? So she's going to go along with the other worry dolls. And we are going to put some of these in the journal as dangles, or paper clips, or maybe in a secret pocket. The other project I want to show you is actually what's called a nicho. And what a nicho is a lot of time they're used for religious reasons, but they can also be used just, as a household decoration. They're a little box that you can hang on the wall. If you are a religious person, you would put maybe a cross in there or a picture of the Virgin Mary. If you're not really doing it for that reason, with the nicho, you can put in a little doll, a picture of a loved one, any kind of miniatures that you may have. And so I'm working on a nicho right now, and I'm working on the design, and then it needs to be painted. But what I'm thinking with our nicho, I'm going to put a little shelf in here, is that some of our worry dolls may be able to have their own little, location where we can put them. So that's what I'm thinking at this point. I need to, I don't know if I have any brown paint or the color paint I want, so I may have to pick up a little bit of paint. And then I'm going to paint this with you and show you this on camera and get it nice and beautiful so we can make our own nicho. And this is probably going to go on the cover. So this is just a little preview of what's going to go on the cover of our journal. And I'll let you know real quick, because almost every day I have to update a thing or two. So if you guys get your toothpicks out, get your matchsticks and cut the, I call it phosphorus. I don't know what you all call it. I guess it's because in Spanish they're called fósforos, is one of the words for matches. But you cut off the part that can catch fire and dispose of those properly, and then you can make your dolls out of the toothpicks, and I think they work better. So, what I updated today was I had been wanting to do something for Chile. And some of the things I saw for Chile were like clay figurines and things like that. But there is a famous poet that is Chilean, and his name is Pablo Neruda. And I really love this poem that he wrote. It says, de la vida no quiero mucho. Quiero apenas saber que intenté todo lo que quise. Tuve todo lo que pude. Amé todo lo que valía la pena. Y perdí apenas lo que nunca fue mío. So what that basically says, from life, I don't want much. I want to know that I at least tried all that I wanted to, had all that I could, loved what was worth loving, and lost only what was never mine. Isn't that a beautiful poem? And so this is my tribute to Chile. And if Terry's watching, this is a poem that I think she would really like. So she was married to someone from Chile, and she's dear friends from Chile. So I wanted to put something in there special for her, and I think this poem is just perfect for it. So I put that on the brown page, was on the back of the butterflies. And really, other than that, I haven't done anything else. I made a cute little page here with Portugal on the back that I'm just going to stick in here. And so then, as I told you yesterday, that I am making 2 signatures now. So that's what I wanted to show you today. Just a fun little way to make some worry dolls from Guatemala, and then also to share with you one of the ways that I use my post earrings. So I showed you yesterday how you can use them for closures on your envelopes, and they're fun on tags too, especially if you get some dangly ones. So you can use them for all kinds of things. They're really quite fun. So if you have an opportunity to get some of these, maybe I got some of my first ones on eBay, but you might even be able to look through your own jewelry box and see what post earrings you have that you might not have matches to anymore, or you might not like anymore, and you can use them then to decorate different things in your journal. So I'm loving that option. Just like we use buttons, we can use these post earrings. I mean, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? So, and sometimes, depending on how they're glued, you might be able to take your pliers and kind of wiggle this all the way off, and that way it becomes just flat and you don't have to worry about the pokey thing. But with a pair of jewelry pliers, you can easily cut the pokey thing off, and then you just have a piece that you can stick down. And I haven't had any problem just sticking them down with either the beacon glue or clear tacky glue or even craft bond. So whatever you have will work. So I hope you enjoyed the little project I shared with you today, and my meanderings and my talking. I'm so excited because We're soon going to have our journal finished, and it's been a wonderful journey. And I hope you've learned some things or sparked your creativity with this series. And then once I get this finished, then we'll be working on some other journals, as I mentioned, a little bit more in my wheelhouse of the shabby type romantic design, and using some digitals from Kim and some digitals from Caroline and designing some things for them. So I'm really excited about that. So I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in again, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.